Off the southern tip of South Africa, there is a bay where the great white sharks used to gather. For decades, it was one of the surest places on Earth to find them. The cage divers came, the film crews came, the sharks were always there. And then, almost overnight, they were gone. The first sign was a body on the beach, a great white, almost 16 feet of it, dead in the shallows. No hook, no net, no boat strike. Just a single clean wound opened between the fins and the liver missing, not torn out, removed. Then a second shark washed up, then a third. Something had come into the home of the most feared predator in the ocean and begun taking it apart, one organ at a time. And the great whites did the only thing left to them. They abandoned the coast. We tell ourselves the great white sits at the top of everything, the last predator, the one with nothing above it. We are wrong. It has a predator of its own. The killers have names. Researchers call them Port and Starboard, after the one feature you can spot from a mile off. A healthy orca carries a dorsal fin like a black sail, nearly 6 feet tall and dead straight. These two do not. Port's fin has flopped over to the left. Starboard's leans hard to the right. Two males traveling together, impossible to mistake for anything else. They come from a rare roaming line of orcas with oddly flattened teeth, ground down over a lifetime of eating sharks. When they move onto a stretch of coast, the local great whites do not contest it. They scatter. The kill is quick. The orcas batter the shark until they can take it by the pectoral fins and open it along a single seam between them, then reach in for the liver and leave most of the rest. It seems a strange thing to be so picky about, but a great white's liver can run to nearly a third of the animal's body weight, and it is dense with oil. To an orca, it is the richest meal in the sea. For years, the assumption was that a kill like this took a whole group working in concert. Then, in 2023, a drone filmed Starboard doing it alone, dismantling one of the largest predatory fish on the planet in a little over 2 minutes. But the killing is not the unsettling part. The fear is. When these orcas appear, the sharks do not just die, they clear out, sometimes for months. The very first time anyone recorded it, off California in 1997, the great whites of that whole area vanished for the better part of a year. The most frightening animal in the ocean had finally met the one thing that frightens it. For a long time, we crowned the wrong king. The great white has the teeth, the reputation, the films named after it. What it does not have is the top of the ocean. That belongs to the orca, and it is not a close contest. Nothing in the sea hunts a grown killer whale. It has no predator anywhere in its range, and its range is very nearly the whole planet. Every ocean from the pack ice of the poles to the warm shallows of the tropics. Few animals alive are spread so wide. Then there is the fact that throws most people. The killer whale is not a whale at all. It is a dolphin, the biggest in the world, cousin to the grinning acrobats we keep in aquariums. It simply grew to 30 feet, learned to hunt in disciplined packs, and made the open sea its hunting ground. The catalog of what it kills runs past 140 species: fish, sharks, seals, sea lions, dolphins, the calves of larger whales. There are even records of orcas taking moose, picked off as the animals swim between islands along the coast of Alaska. Almost nothing out there is too strange to become prey, and nothing, it turns out, is too large. In March of 2019, off Western Australia, scientists watched a pod of about 14 orcas close in on a blue whale. The blue whale is the largest animal that has ever lived, heavier than the biggest dinosaur that ever walked the earth. Each orca was a fraction of its size. They killed it anyway, out in open water, and once it was down, some 50 of them moved in to feed. No one had ever confirmed it before. Orcas had brought down the biggest creature on the planet. It was not a freak event. Every spring off California, orcas wait along the gray whale migration for the mothers passing through with their newborns, then work the calves loose and drown them. In the Gulf of California, a single pod has figured out how to take whale sharks, the largest fish in the sea, rolling them over into a kind of trance before opening them up for, once again, the liver. The pattern is what stays with you. The orca does not pick on the small and the slow. It goes after the largest living things on Earth and treats them as a meal, not out of need, out of capability. And size, as it happens, is not even its sharpest weapon. An orca's deadliest weapon is not its body. It is what it knows. In the freezing water off Antarctica, one population specializes in seals resting on floating ice. The seal is doing the sensible thing, lying up out of reach where nothing can get at it. So the orcas form a line, drive at the flow together, and dive in unison at the last instant, sending a single wave rolling up and over the ice that sweeps the seal off into the water. They have been filmed doing it again and again, and when a flow is too big, breaking it down into smaller pieces first. No lone orca could manage that. It works only because several of them do it at once, on cue. Along the beaches of Argentina, a different group takes a different gamble. They drive themselves clean out of the surf and onto dry sand to snatch sea lion pups, then heave their bodies back into the water before the tide leaves them stranded. There are few more dangerous things a predator can attempt anywhere on Earth. And on a remote island in the far south, biologists have watched the adults coach their young through it, season after season, the mothers shoving the calves up the beach and hauling them back down until the move becomes second nature. This is the thing to understand about orcas. The hunting is not instinct, it is learned, invented by one generation and handed to the next, and it changes from one corner of the world to another the way customs change between countries. An animal that can teach is an animal that thinks, so the question stops being how an orca hunts and becomes what exactly is going on behind those eyes. Left there, the orca sounds like a machine for killing. It is closer to the opposite. Along the Pacific coast of North America, two kinds of orca move through the same cold water. They look almost identical. They cross the same bays. And they behave as though the other simply is not there. One kind eats fish and nothing else, and will glide past a seal without a second look. The other eats seals, sea lions, the calves of whales, and would not break stride for a salmon. They hunt apart. They sound different. They do not interbreed. Their two lineages split hundreds of thousands of years ago, and many researchers now believe they are drifting toward becoming separate species, two nations in one sea, each with its own tongue and its own law. The tongue is not a metaphor. Every orca family keeps its own set of calls, learned from the mother, and carried down the generations, as particular as a regional accent. Play the right recording to the right scientist, and they can tell you which family is speaking. A culture like that can also be fatal. One renowned population off Washington State eats almost nothing but a single run of salmon, because that is what its ancestors ate, and it will not change. As the salmon collapse, those orcas are quietly starving. Roughly 70 of them remain. A predator nothing in the ocean can touch, finished off not by an enemy, but by its own inheritance. The most baffling thing orcas do, they only started doing 5 years ago. In the spring of 2020, in the narrow water between Spain and North Africa, sailors began reporting the same bizarre encounter. An orca would slide up behind a boat, take the rudder in its mouth, and snap it, then push the hull around in slow circles. Something like 700 of these run-ins have happened since. A small number of boats have actually gone down. The internet had its answer ready: an uprising, revenge. The whales finally turning on us. The people studying it see nothing of the sort. There is no trace of revenge, and not a single person has been hurt. The orcas almost always lose interest the moment the boat stops moving, and they never go for the crew, only for the one part of the vessel that turns and shoves back when they shove it. Their leading explanation is harder to laugh off than revenge would be. They think it is a game. The animals doing it are mostly young, from a fragile population of only about 40. They have time to kill and minds that go hunting for something to do, and one of them, somewhere, discovered that a rudder is a wonderful toy, The habit caught on and spread the way a craze tears through a schoolyard. Orcas have pulled this before, taking up some pointless trend, passing it around the pod, then dropping it as suddenly as they found it. Wild animals inventing a fad for no better reason than that it amused them. Not a rebellion, something stranger, and a great deal harder to explain. Lay it all out. A predator that kills the largest animals on the planet, that clears a coastline of great whites just by arriving, that hunts with strategy and teaching and split-second teamwork, that has us hopelessly outmatched in open water and could drown a swimmer in seconds. In all of recorded history, not one wild orca has ever killed a human being. There is no confirmed case of it anywhere, at any time. The worst on record is a single bite off California in 1972, and the surfer lived. A creature that spares almost nothing spares us entirely. There is one dark footnote, and honesty requires it. Orcas have killed people in our swimming pools. Confined to concrete tanks, captive orcas have taken at least 4 human lives. The best known was a bull named Tilikum, linked to 3 of those deaths, including a senior trainer at a marine park in 2010. Out in the ocean, with every opportunity and every reason they leave us be. It is only inside a box of our making that they have ever turned on us. Why the wild ones spare us, no one can say for certain. Maybe we were never written into the lessons their mothers passed down. Maybe a mind that complex recognizes another when it meets one. We are guessing. The strongest hunter in the sea lets us live, year after year, and has never once explained why. One fact about orcas stays with me longer than any of the killing. The females go through menopause. They stop bearing calves somewhere in their 30s or 40s, and then they keep living, sometimes for decades more. Almost nothing on Earth does this. We do. A handful of whales do. Past that, the list runs nearly empty. So why keep a female alive long after she can no longer breed? The answer is memory. The old females are the archive of the pod. They hold the map of where the food shows up in the lean years, where the prey gathers, how the family pulled through the last time the sea turned thin. When a grandmother dies, the young around her are far more likely to die as well. She keeps them in the world by remembering it for them. One of those matriarchs off the coast of Washington was thought to be nearing 100 years old. The researchers called her Granny. She led her family through water her own ancestors had fished, carrying a record no human will ever get to read. And one day, in 2016, she slipped under and never came back up. That is the animal we share this planet with. A mind that kills the largest creatures alive, builds traditions, schools its young, fears next to nothing, could end us without effort, and decides, over and over, to let us be. We have barely begun to know it, and the ocean, as ever, is in no hurry to explain. This has been Blues Below. If you want to keep going down into the creatures and the wrecks and the science that hide in the dark of the sea, subscribe, and we will see you in the deep. The ocean keeps its secrets,